Hello everyone and welcome to Talking Good Game. It's just finished. England 2, Denmark 1 after extra time, and England are into the Euro 20 final. Gonzo, how are you feeling?
Delighted. Absolutely delighted. Buzzing. Waited such a long time for this. Such a long time. And it's not done yet. Don't get me wrong. I don't just want to get to a final. I want to win the final and win the trophy. But the semi-final's the first hurdle. I'm absolutely buzzing. It's really good. I wish I was there. Honestly, I'm looking at all the crowd there. I would love to have been there tonight. What a special atmosphere. But had to make do with the telly. Absolutely wonderful. England being England, they gave us a scare and a fright by deciding to go defensive when we were camped in their box. Right, no, that won't do. Let's give them a chance. And in all fairness, wonderful, Geo. Absolutely wonderful. Delighted. Punch in the air, jumped off the sofa. Much the same as after country, I'm pretty sure. Just buzzing. What an event. What an occasion. Wow. Football. What a time for it.
Congratulations to England. It's sort of little old England, isn't it? But I'll tell you what, this is sort of a new big England, this team. If you hear snippets there, and the main photographer has been with the England team since the 80s, was saying, this is the best team, the best England team spirit you've seen. I think you've seen that on the pitch tonight, actually. I think it was a fantastic, as a neutral, it was a fantastic semi-final to watch, just like last night, Spain-Italy. We've been treated to 240 minutes of superb football. I thought Denmark were brilliant. I think England were also brilliant. I thought that some players were absolutely fantastic tonight from both teams. It was a real entertaining game to watch. I couldn't take my eyes off it, really. And it was a real credit to the competition and football in general. I thought it was a really good game. But anyway, we'll talk about the game briefly, I guess, and then you can talk about England generally. But you went 1-0 down pretty quickly. Or I say pretty reasonably quickly. It was a goal that was coming, I felt. I thought it was a really good game. Actually, it was very end to end. I thought, unlike most teams you've come up against this tournament, Denmark took the game to you and thought, let's go toe to toe. And I thought it made for good viewing from a neutral perspective.
Obviously I don't know about that. I wasn't able to watch it from a neutral's perspective in that sense. So we started well. So it felt, you watch these games and it's your team, you're just desperate to, you're feeling things and you're feeling excited when you attack and you're feeling anxious when they attack. So I was going from excitement to anxiety and back and forth. We started well. We seemed to be getting at them, and then we sort of retreated into ourselves a little bit, which is sort of what we do. And I don't know. We probably didn't. From an England fan, you think, why are we inviting them onto it? But it's just the nature of being partisan that you that when the other team do something well, you sort of blame yourself for it. But maybe Denmark were just attacking well, and it's good to have a different sense of perspective on it. But it was a bit of a worry. But I've got to say, even when they scored, I wasn't overly concerned. I knew we could score a goal. I definitely felt that, because it was just a case of us clicking. And the thing is now, here's the funny thing. You always feel that even if we can't, there's substitutions can be made, and there's such creative players on there that they can always bring something on. But I thought for their goal, I thought Pickford had started up. That was Pickford's worst game, by the way, anyway. I thought he was really shaky beforehand, but his kicking was off. He flapped at another thing before that. And then that can weave and bob as much as it wants. It didn't go into the corner, and I felt not only he should have saved it, but I thought there were a lot of goalkeepers that would have saved it. And certainly from that point of view, Schmeichel was better than Pickford tonight.
Yeah, I thought both teams looked a little bit shaky. Perhaps England more so than Denmark. I thought Denmark were perhaps the calmer of the two sides. There were a lot of sloppy passes going on from England. A little bit of sloppy play. The worst bit, if you like, was when Shaw gave a 5-yard pass to Sterling, and he stood still waiting for it to touch him on the foot and roll past him. And you could see him apologising to people, and you just thought, it's not good enough. That was a very soft free kick the referee gave against England. It was a stupid thing from Luke Shaw to do, because the referee stood right in front. The referee was literally right in front of Luke Shaw. However, I don't think it was a free kick. The contact is contact. It was a slight arm around his waist. I don't like seeing free kicks given for stuff like that. But the free kick itself is a terrific strike, because if you ask Damsgaard, did you mean to kick it there? He just said, no, I'd like to a few inches towards the corner. Yeah. However, to hit it the way he did with his side foot and go for power is an incredible strike. The technique was unbelievable, but Pickford needs to be doing a lot better. Like you say, if someone scores that far out and gets into the top corner like Payet did at Old Trafford, you say, fair enough, good strike. Nothing we could do about that kind of thing. But the more you saw it, the more you thought Pickford was at fault there for that goal. However, Raheem Sterling misses a glorious chance, though. I mean, Kasper Schmeichel makes an outstanding save, but is it just one of them where Sterling's just a bit too close to the goal? All he can do is hit it and hope, and Schmeichel's just a good goalkeeper.
Oh, well, no, you mentioned Payet. Let's use him as an example. Payet wouldn't have hit the goalkeeper. There's many players that would have dinked it over him, hit it either side, rolled it, nutmegged him, done any number of things. But I'm listening. We'll talk about Sterling a lot more later on. But Sterling's not that player. Sterling's not got that subtlety to really do that. He plays at 1,000 mile an hour, Sterling, and I guess you can't complain because it really went for him. It was such a benefit for Sterling to play at 1,000 mile an hour tonight. I guess you can't really complain when that one time you want him to slow it down and be the mate, like Neo in the Matrix, and it all goes slow. No, that's not really what he does. So he got it on target. You can't really. I wouldn't even call it a save, mate. He went like that and spread himself. It didn't even hit his hand to start. He actually hit his gut and then bounced off onto his hands. I wouldn't even call it a save. It was an on target miss from Sterling, really.
Anyway, 45 seconds later, we assumed Raheem Sterling had scored to make up for it. We hadn't. Own goal, lovely through ball by Harry Kane, throw to play Saka, and he's patient, he waits, he times it correctly. Sterling is going to tap it in. Kjaer has to do something. He's got to do something, and unfortunately for him, he bundles in the back of the net. A little bit lucky, but sometimes make your own luck.
Yeah, I loved Kane and Saka's involvement in this was really good. He timed Saka. Well, firstly, the pass was precision, and then Saka timed the release of the ball perfectly. Hung on to it just enough. Really good, as you say. The defender. What more could he? Well, what more could he do? I guess he could clear it somewhere other than the goal. But it was. We deserved the goal. It wasn't a ridiculously clumsy own goal. That was, had he not have done that, we were going to score anyway, I'm quite sure. So, and we almost scored, as you say, with the move we just discussed right before that. So, it was deserved. And at the tail of the tape, when you look at it at the end of the game, when England had over 20 odd shots, we certainly deserved to be 1-1 at that point.
Yeah, I think 1-1 at half-time was a fair result to be going in at half-time with. I thought Kane was looking good in the first half creatively. That through ball for Saka, but also pretty early on, he did that really cross from deep on the right for Raheem Sterling. It was just a bit overhit. He just didn't quite get it, but he was right on the right wing. Lovely curl on it, took the defence out perfectly. And you just thought Kane's in the mood a bit tonight. Anyway, second half-time come and went. I felt from then on, I think England were the better team. Denmark had a threat. They had a threat on the counter-attack, but England just seemed fresher for some reason. You just seemed a little bit quicker, a little bit fitter, a little bit more organised. I actually thought you were the better team in the second half. Nothing come of it, of course, but what did you make of your second half performance?
Well, I thought we were lacking a number 10 in a number 10 position. Actually, that's really, if I was going to be ultra critical at that point, because I thought actually we're going to have to get to the point where we wait for the substitutions. I didn't feel he had to, because he's got a guy there, Mount. And I said before in the preview that we did, Mount will pull wide, and if we're not getting crosses in, Mount will put his hand up and say, well, I'll put some crosses in. And he likes to do that, and that's great. And as I think he justified his inclusion in the team today because he actually won the ball on a couple of occasions in our own box. And that's why Southgate likes him, because he works hard as well. But what he tends to do is he tends to desert that number 10 area. And I thought, do you know what? If we just have a number 10 in there, we can score some goals here. But it was being ultra critical there, really. So I thought we're just going to have to wait to substitutions, which obviously we did. But we were the moment we scored the goal, they had to then come out, and that was then going to leave space again, and it did leave a little bit of space for us. And there were a couple of other people started to impose themselves on the game, and you talk about anytime it didn't go in our favour, you speak about Kane. Kane was very clever. Kane was like almost like Chiellini tonight, and that's a strange comparison to make. 'Cause you're comparing an old centre half with a striker, but I do it on purpose because he is a wily old fox, Chiellini, and if Kane couldn't get the ball, he'd draw the free kick, he'd fall down. You know, Kane had it up there today, and he was, when a pass was needed, played a pass. When he recycled the ball, winning free kicks, he had no right to win. And actually, he looked so experienced when he was winning those free kicks. The people he was up against, he was making them look like schoolboys who'd never played the game of football today. And it was almost because, I suckered you into that one. Kane was outsmarting his opposite number. I thought it was quite an impressive display from for the dark arts, if you want.
Yeah, there were some players that impressed me over the 90 minutes. I think a lot faded in extra time. I think Højbjerg for Denmark was fantastic tonight over 90 minutes, breaking everything up, offering everything on the ball. But Darmsgaard looked good every time Denmark went forward. I thought he got something a bit too early, actually. I thought that was possibly the biggest error. When they took him off, I think they took off the threat. I think he was just itching to get Poulsen on, which I understand why. But he just really weakened the Denmark attack. Saying that, on the other hand, I thought Vestergaard looked shaky every time England went down the right-hand side. He was either conceding fouls or just winning the ball. And when you just win the ball, it looks impressive because it looks like a last-ditch tackle, so on and so forth. But I thought Vestergaard was there to be got at. When Grealish come on, that changed the game a little bit because teams are just scared of him. The guy that Daniel Waz came on, he got booked after about 2 minutes because he had to foul Jack Grealish. Norgard then had to foul Jack Grealish. And just quickly, before we talk about extra time, Harry Kane had a bit of a penalty shout and it went sort of in favour of Denmark. Did you think that was a penalty, or do you think the referee got it right?
No, I thought Kane kicked the defender, actually. I don't think it was a penalty at all, no.
I thought it was a pen, but I do think Kane fouled Poulsen before he got into the box, so that makes sense. So just wanted to touch on that. But anyway, extra time comes and goes, and I have to say, I fancied England as soon as before extra time even kicked off. I thought, here you are. Denmark was looking tired towards the end of the 90 minutes. And England's bench is just ridiculous. Denmark has already made a few changes. Southgate made one sub, and he's got all that players on the bench, the likes of Foden. He didn't use him, but he also has the likes of Jadon Sancho and there, Reece James, if it came Trippier, if he wanted to change formation. And I just thought there's no way Denmark were going to cope with England's energy, really. But it came through a penalty. Raheem Sterling went down. What did you make of this? Pen or no pen?
I didn't see any contact at all. I didn't even on the replay. I didn't think it was. I couldn't see. I looked 3 or 4 times. I couldn't see any contact. I thought it was going to get overturned by VAR. I mean, there's people in the chat saying England cheated. They're obviously just angry and having an event, which I sort of understand. But if he had cheated, then it's up to actually the officials and the VAR people to overturn it, and they didn't. I didn't think it was a penalty. I didn't think there was any contact at all.
I think there was contact. The defender's hip, it was sort of right hip. The first one, I think the referee actually gives it because I think he assumes Vestergaard's tripped him because Sterling goes down like he's been tripped, but there is no trip there. But I think there was contact on another defender. But to me, that's not enough for a penalty. I think England got very lucky there. However, like I said, I think Denmark was also very lucky to get the free kick that they scored from. I don't think that was a free kick either. And I was surprised the referee wasn't at least asked to go and have a look at the monitor. I was surprised that the VAR referee said, no, correct decision. And I'm aware the commentator was screaming, it's got to be clear and obvious. It's got to be clear and obvious. But I thought it was clear and obvious. I thought it was that big an error kind of thing, you know. And like you said, the chat saying England are cheating. I don't think Sterling does cheat. I don't think it's a dive because I do think there is contact. He goes down. That's what strikers have got to do. But we've also seen, I know not so much in the Euros, but all you have to do is go back to the very end of the Premier League season when Patrick Bamford, can't remember who Leeds United were playing. Patrick Bamford was one-on-one, went around the goalie. The goalkeeper hit him on the foot, but Patrick Bamford stayed up and ended up going out of a corner. And Patrick Bamford said, well, hang on a minute, you've got to give me a pen for that. The only way Sterling gets a pen is by going down. He gives the ref, he makes the referee make a decision. He gets it in his favour. It wins the game. Is it cheating? I don't think so. Wouldn't call it cheating, but I would call it an extremely soft penalty. That's what I would call it. Minimal contact at best. But anyway, Kane gets off with it a little bit. Good, decent save by Kasper Schmeichel, but the rebound falls kindly for him.
Yeah, but you got to follow it up, and it's funny actually. I often wonder what a striker would do. I don't know. I'm not a striker. I've never been in that situation, but I think on my stats, I'd rather the goal than the penalty. If you know what, do you know what I mean? Because you know, like you get to the end of the season and say, oh, hold on, but he had 10 of those were penalties. And I remember when he won the Golden Boot in the World Cup, it was saying that doesn't really count because 3 of them were penalties. And you can say, well, that wasn't a penalty. I actually did score that from open play. Look, Kane won't care. I didn't care. From the moment Schmeichel saved it, it was obvious Kane was going to score it. And you know what? It's if we'd have lost that game off the back of that penalty, I'd be fuming. There's no doubt about it. But you know what, Geo? We have. That has happened. That has happened to England. All right, not exactly that, but we've scored goals before that have been disallowed and stuff like that, right? Honestly, we've had ball go over the line and they don't even count it. So we've had all of that, right? So I'll take that bit of luck. But let's just get that into context. It wasn't like we had a bit of luck and then the worst team won. That's not what happened. England were a better team tonight. Okay, we had a bit of luck and we got the goal. And let's be fair, they were all dropping like flies those days. They were so knackered, that Danish team, that they didn't even have a full complement of players at the end of the game. We had a lot of technical players, and we still had quality players to bring on. I think he still had one more in the bag. Still could have done Sancho. So we've had a team full of penalty takers as well, had we wanted to, such as the strength and depth of England. So, and there is that. I've got to be honest with you. There's I can only be as honest as I can be. I didn't think it was a penalty. I didn't think the Kane one was a penalty. That being said, as an England fan, you get to the point where you don't care. Particularly as everyone's, having a go at England for years and years and years, you get a bit deaf to it, really. And I'm just delighted we're in a final.
Yeah, I think you've got lucky with the goals you've scored, but I do think you were the better team over 90 minutes and the better team. Definitely, there was only one team in extra time. I know what you're saying about how you had one sub left, but you're removing context there because Southgate made the Kieran Trippier sub off the back of going 2-1 up, for example.
Well, we can discuss that if you want.
Well, taking off Grealish for a second.
Yeah.
Taking off Grealish. I think it's the right thing to do.
I didn't understand it. I mean, at the time, I'm delighted because had that have been a lucky goal, then fair enough. Had we been under the cosh and we broke, but they hadn't been in our half for ages. We were camped. We were absolutely camped. And Grealish and Foden and everybody else and Sterling. I mean, they were making. I almost felt there was no need to change it. Well, actually, we are. I thought this is the point. Go and get the third and the fourth goal. I know what he did, and it worked. All right, and it worked. But for that point, I thought, oh no, don't do this, because for the 5 minutes after he changed it, we sat right back and allowed them to attack us. Which I thought, oh my goodness, it's like watching West Ham. Oh crikey, don't do this. Whatever.
I kind of get that, but at the same time. Just at the end of the first half in extra time, Grealish lost the ball in your corner and conceded a corner.
He did.
So no wonder Southgate went, get off the pitch. But
he don't do it with anyone else. Grealish is not the only person that conceded a corner for England.
He's the only one that dribbles it into his own corner and concedes a corner, though.
Well, anyway, he's not.
I know Pickford's kicking was poor with his right foot tonight, in extra time in particular. But at least he was just belting it away. He was just getting rid of it. He wasn't trying anything fancy, which you can be a bit suspect in the Premier League at times. All those players can. City overplay at times at Kyle Walker. Tonight, didn't take any chances, Kyle Walker. And I just thought Grealish, at that point, when he'd done it, I thought, oh, Southgate is not going to like what you've just done there, kind of thing. I'm not surprised he took it off. And yeah, okay, it was a bit defensive, but he trusts his defence. You've conceded one goal in the tournament. And that was from a free kick. And like you said, the Danes were dropping like flies. So they thought, we'll just sit in, we'll see this out. Happy days. And I think the reason he took Jack off rather than Raheem Sterling, I can only guess, Raheem Sterling's probably in his 5 for taking penalties. Just in case it goes there. Jack Grealish might not be in that thing. But
I think differently. I think Sterling justified his decision, actually, by the way that Sterling kept on running. Sterling was a threat to the very last minute. So I think Sterling played so well so well that actually he couldn't be substituted. To be able to have that much energy, be able to run that fast, is Sterling's penalty technique. I would imagine it's average. Would I think Sterling's technique at penalties would be better than Grealish? Very much doubt it.
That's not what I'm discussing. I'm discussing what I think Southgate would do.
Yeah, but I think it was I think it was an open play decision, and I think it was Warren. I think he merited that, and it was justified because Sterling was just particularly in that. Once the system got settled with the three at the back, Sterling was outstanding. I mean, he was the option to break with. So I personally think it was to see out extra time that Sterling stayed on there rather than penalties, and I wouldn't have been surprised actually as I actually thought this if there were penalties. I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling came off and Sancho came on because he's more technical. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was. But it gave us a little bit of squeaky bum. But the last 5 minutes, we had full control of the game.
Anyway, a couple of individual performers. Take your pick.
Well, I've mentioned a couple. I thought Maguire was excellent. By the way, I thought Maguire was really something quite special. Actually, really, There's a technique that bringing the ball out from the back is good. There's a commanding presence to his tackling and to his heading, which we all get. But there's some players can force their personality on a game, which I don't think is. It's hard. I think it's hard in a field of play where there's lots of people on there. I guess it's different in a tennis match. There's two of you on there. You can inject your personality into it, but to actually inject your personality and have it impact the game and the momentum of things, I think is a very impressive attribute, and he's got it in abundance. Maguire, I was very impressed with him tonight. I thought Phillips played well and was tigerish in the middle. I thought Shaw came into it the more the game went on. I liked Walker's covering actually tonight. The Walker's covering was good. I mentioned Pickford, haven't I already? And Harry Kane, I just thought was, yeah, he looked like somebody. I know you can't imagine if fitness was never a problem, right? Imagine fitness. Imagine you didn't get old until you were 100 or something. Your body didn't start breaking at 33 or whatever. He looked like somebody that was like a 70-year-old footballer who had it all up there, who'd seen it all before, knew every trick in the book. It was an impressively mature performance actually from Kane. And when Kane knew he couldn't impact the game, he bent the rules and manipulated he bought a free kick. He did something. It was amazing actually. It was almost like he had the football handbook, all the rules. It was like he had an encyclopedic knowledge of it in his head. So impressive performance actually.
Was he your man of the match?
No.
Who's your man of the match?
Raheem Sterling was my man of the match.
Yeah, I get that. I agree with the players you've picked out as well. I think Maguire and Kane and Sterling were the three standout candidates tonight for England. I think, particularly in extra time, you can see who plays for Champions League clubs. I said to Mrs. Geo, just right at the end of the game, 95 minutes on the clock or something, Calvin Phillips had a shot. England were passing around outside. It came to Phillips and on his left foot as well, and he shot. You could see Grealish and Shaw waving their arms around. And I said to her, this is where you can tell, with the greatest of respect to him, this is where you can tell Calvin Phillips doesn't play for a Champions League club. Sometimes tonight I felt you could tell Declan Rice didn't play for a Champions League club. I thought Rice was average tonight. I thought Phillips was better than Rice tonight. But that moment, I thought he's made the wrong choice here. If that was a Man City player, he would have shifted it over to Luke Shaw. Said, there you go, get down that left and get the cross in. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Maguire, Sterling and Kane were picking out three players with lots of experience for England, lots of experience in the Champions League between them. Yeah. And I thought you could tell that them three were sort of England's three top dogs tonight, if you like. I thought they were absolutely unbelievable. I think Kyle Walker's pace got out of trouble in the first half on a couple of occasions. One of them is when Harry Maguire went running 30 yards down the middle of the pitch, but he was trying to drive England on. You could see him waving to Luke Shaw saying, get forward, I'm coming with it. Get forward. I thought Shaw was a bit quiet tonight, a bit conservative. Mount a bit quiet as well. But overall, I thought no one had a bad game. I know people will pick at Pickford, but I still think, he made a couple of decent saves as well.
Yes.
I thought Kasper Schmeichel was excellent for Denmark, by
Yeah.
the way. I thought he made some superb saves. Really entertaining game of football. But anyway, final words, please, Gonzo. You're in the final of Euro 20.
I'm just delighted. I'm done. Look, I said I think it was a penalty. I didn't think it was a penalty. Didn't think the other one. But there's clearly a load of angry people everywhere. I'm not one of them. I'm absolutely delighted. I'm going to really enjoy this because it's been a long time coming. I tell you that. I've waited a long time. And as I said, we've done our bits of being robbed. And I don't just say it as an England fan. I say it as a West Ham fan as well, and say it as Keith Hackett. People know what I'm talking about when I'm saying that, and Tony Gale and stuff like that, and Manny Omanyemi and stuff like that. When you're booted out there, the cup. We've been robbed as a fan of England and West Ham. I feel like I've been robbed enough times over the years. And if you're in the chat there and you're an England fan and you're a West Ham fan like me, then I'm hoping it's our time. I'm hoping it is now the time to enjoy a little bit of success. The final is gonna. Can we talk about the final? I can talk about the final. England in the final, and that is it. I've discussed all the technicalities. West Ham, England, West Ham in the final. England are in a final, and it is brilliant. That final is going to be at Wembley. The crowd seemed to have what a great day the crowd had. Wonderful. If anyone's got a private box, by the way, and you watch this channel, I'm just saying. Wow, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I am thrilled. So thrilled. It's beyond measure, really. I'm really going to enjoy the next few days. And I'm sure tomorrow the bum will start squeaking. I'll start looking at a very good Italian team. I've got I know plenty of people in Italy, that's going to be very, very interesting as well. I cannot wait though. I cannot wait for Sunday. And the longer it goes on, the more nervous I'll become, particularly the extra time and doubt. I'm sure will start to creep in. But for the moment, I'm just.
I'll try and inject some doubt in the match preview that we record. I'll be Team Italy. I'll be doing that role. But the best thing for you guys is this isn't the end. No, and I don't just mean you've got the final on Sunday. I mean the World Cup next year as well. You've got the youngest squad at the Euros, even before Euros kicked off. You've got the youngest squad there. There's a lot of players that will only get better from this experience. And some of them I just spoke about are having average games, not compared to the bigger ones. And that is the likes of Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice, Jack Grealish, Phil Foden. They'll all be even better at the World Cup next year. But this one's not finished yet. And you're there on merit as well. It's not like you fluked your way there like Portugal did 4 years ago when they didn't even win a game in 90 minutes. They got out the group with 3 draws and just continued going to extra time and pens and winning the Euros. It's not even like you've done that. It's not. You don't have a blotch on your CV. And the one thing that frustrates us with West Ham is perhaps not growing organically as a football club, but England as a country has grown organically football-wise as well. You got to the World Cup semi-final, and I listened to Southgate before the game, and something he said, which was quite. I never really considered it before. And he said that because of the World Cup failure, if you want to call it, getting the semi-final, it's just they weren't as jubilant getting to the semi-final of the Euros this time around. He said they're not as jubilant now. They've experienced the World Cup semi-final. Yeah. Now they've got the Euro semi-final. They've done it. They've done something bigger. The World Cup's bigger than the Euros. So this isn't even the biggest occasion that they've experienced. Sunday will be. But I just thought it was an interesting thing that Southgate said kind of thing. And I think he got absolutely smack bang on tonight. I was suspicious of Southgate going into this tournament. I didn't think he'd do well enough. And at times you still have your doubts over whether England will win the game or you question some of his decisions and his substitutions. And this is very similar to David Moyes at West Ham. But he's doing it. He's getting the results. You're in the final of the Euros on merit. But anyway, shall we leave it there?
Yeah, sorry, just find out. No, not quite. What I just wanted to say was just what you picked up on then about them not being jubilant. You know this because we've spoken about it numerous times, just doing West Ham stuff. I hate this mantra of I want to get to the final. It'd be a dream to play at Wembley. It'd be a dream to play a Champions League final. I think no. It'd be great to almost catch the bus. No, you need to get on the bus and complete your journey. And I bet it'd be pretty crap if you get to Wembley and lose. I'm pretty sure that. In fact, I don't think it's anything you look back on fondly. I really don't. I bet actually, if you get to a final and lose, and you walk up the steps first, and then you have to watch the other team walk up the steps, really hold the trophy up. I bet it's actually a memory you'd probably like to expunge from your your head. It wouldn't be you're like, oh yeah, I got that nice medal, and no. So this is all about winning. You know, the winner takes it all. That's why. And I said this. I don't say it now because England are in the final. I've always said it. So why this third and fourth place game is a farce. They just want to go home. I'm pretty sure, unless the under 21s are there, and if it actually has a chance to play in the Euros.
You don't play in the Euros,
don't they?
No, it's just the World
good.
Cup.
Well, good. Ridiculous. Yeah, well, there you go. Good for them. Good for them. That's the last thing Spain and Denmark want. They want to go home. And I'll tell you what I will say is Denmark go home heroes, actually. They go home heroes. Got some really good players as well. They've had a remarkable tournament, actually, Gio. Remarkable tournament. So, you know, well done. Well done, Denmark. They were very good.
Yeah, you nearly caught the bus, Denmark. Congratulations.
Well done.
But if you enjoyed this review, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. On Friday night, you'll have the England versus Italy Euro 20 preview on the channel, where I'll be rooting for Italy on Sunday. But Gonzo, I shall catch you on Friday.
You will. Look forward to it.